Some people don't know. So let's check it out. Now we have PPD comes forward and says he was in car, and now PPD is incarcerated on the charges when it comes to on Las Vegas. Yeah. So it's been what 10 years, 10 years. Um, let's break it down. Go down. But this the detectives, police officers, FBI agents, and Los Angeles finest. So let's get into it. It's been a whole 9 yards. Word. We got Snoop. We got Suge. Suge represents those guys we got. So let's see what some of these people talk.
You question why cops never looked into the white Cadillac rental car that was used at TBD and T. Brown and Dre and Orlando Anderson rode in when they did the Tupac thing in Vegas. Why do you feel like he thinks this wasn't addressed or this wasn't looked into?
Because Gene's a clown, like I said earlier in the episode. Gene's a big old clown. Gene is somebody that just gets up talking, even research and investigate things to the point that he should. Since he wanted to be so involved in something where he was probably somewhere with his 355-pound wife laying in bed eating, and probably they were somewhere eating. And then he wanted to put himself in that investigation so much into the Tupac. Because the Biggie thing, I'm just be honest, I call it ball strike strike. Biggie shit just don't get that much love and coverage like Tupac. So he elects to talk on the Tupac subject and put his opinions on there because Reggie Rice speaks the truth. So y'all really don't really like hear Reggie talking about the shit, but y'all can go and listen to somebody else talk because how he speaks or for whatever reason. But we all know from Murder Rap that they know about T. Brown, Bubba written in the car. It wasn't T. Brown. He talking about lock him up. So we all know that T. Brown, but he don't know that that task force, just like they were following around PPD and got him, just like they were following around Reggie Rice and trying to get him on something, and just like they were following around Teresa Swan and did whatever they did to her to get her to say whatever she allegedly said. They were trying to do that to T. Brown as well. He was doing jack. They had information that he was robbing people. And they were trying to catch him in the act of doing a robbery. But when you go to people or when you have a task force like that, you just surveillance people. You follow them around. And then you get them on something. You don't just go to them and bring them to the box. You ain't learned anything about from Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright always tell y'all, they bring you on the box, do what? Shut your motherfucking ass up. Put me in my cell. Take me where you gotta take me. I have nothing else to say. I say it a little nicer. I always say, tell them, hey officer, come on, you was in my situation that you say that I am in or facing. What would you do?
Dean made a comment that he questioned why cops never looked into the white Cadillac rental car that was used at PPD and T. Brown and Dre and Orlando Anderson rode in when they did the Tupac thing in Vegas. Why do you feel like he thinks this wasn't addressed or this wasn't looked into?
Because Gene's a clown, like I said earlier, in the episode, Gene's a big old clown. Gene is somebody that's just setting up. Once they got the investigation and TPD laid it out, they were kind of satisfied. They turned it over to Vegas. There was this detective, Brent Becker, and his partner, who his partner was. At that time, in 1995, in 1996, they did not want to solve the Tupac Shakur murder. 2023, they tried to solve it. But in 1996, they wasn't. They came, like I told y'all, they came to the police station to interview two witnesses. Yet, John always corrects me when I say it, but Gaddafi and Edie. I personally took them down there myself. They were going to possibly look at what they call a photo six pack. I believe they were identifying them. Don't know it. Not putting anything out, but I really believe they were. The Vegas police picked an argument with them. Why y'all come down here with Death Row or Reggie? Why y'all didn't come down here when we were trying to get y'all to come and talk? Oh, we don't want to talk to y'all now. Y'all should have came when we were trying to talk to y'all. Picked an argument with them. If you've been an investigator, you don't care who brought them down. All you want is for them to ID somebody and get on. The point is, the reason why they didn't follow up on the lead about the Cadillac, because they didn't want to solve that case. They didn't want it. Or,
Right. That leads me to say, why now? Like, why now? Why now? What's going on now that they want to solve the case? What's going on now that they want to solve the case? What are they?
All the testimony of Jane today being cross-examined by the defense. Elizabeth, so good to see you. To start off, let me give you a great comment. We got a viewer question from Sam. I just want you to know I've been watching every day from Oxford, England, 5:30 p.m. my time. I'm glued to these updates, and Elizabeth is absolutely beautiful inside and out. Elizabeth, you get so much love on here from our viewers, so always good to see. I do have a lot of questions for you from viewers. Usually I ask you to tell us everything that happened, but I got to get to these viewer questions. I'm going to list three because they're basically the same question. This is from L. Spelunker. This is a question for Elizabeth. There's been a lot of rumors and speculation, jurors and people being removed about what is going on in the courtroom today. What is actually going on? That's my question. Another question from Anne. Is it true about a juror being asked to leave? If so, did it cause a delay in the court? And then show and tell knitting asks, what's the issue with juror number 6? So they're kind of related questions. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it does seem like it's kind of all pertaining to the same issue. So it kind of first started yesterday, and that's when the judge had ordered kind of the lead counsel on both sides, with the prosecution and the defense, to kind of have a conversation with him inside the judge's chamber. But what was interesting is that this particular conversation wasn't even in the transcript. It was under seal, and we learned a little bit more, not the full answer as to what they were talking about. The government is still going to be submitting a response. But from what I understand just about the conversation, there is a possible issue with juror number 6. Now, as far as what the issue may be, it's not very clear, but what I will say is even yesterday and even today, we've seen every single one of the jurors, including the alternates, being inside the jury box, still listening to the testimony. So it's unclear kind of what the hiccup is, but I feel like by at least tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, because court is starting a little bit later tomorrow, that we should learn a little bit more and at least learn what the government's response is to this. But as far as we know right now, everything is kept under wraps, tight-lipped, and under seal, unfortunately.
So no one's being kicked out of the court today?
Nope, not from what I saw.
Okay.
It might be a different situation in the media overflow room, but from what I saw in the main courtroom, I didn't see anyone get kicked out.
Okay, we got a question from Jane. No, not the Jane, just a Jane. What's the, well, we hope not Jane. What's the atmosphere like in the court today?
Yeah, the atmosphere is pretty interesting. I thought as far as the cross-examination, I didn't know kind of what to expect as far as where the cross-examination would go. Tinny Garagos is the one doing the questioning for Jane Doe while she's on the stand. But as far as just the atmosphere inside the courtroom, you would think it would be kind of tense. This is alleged victim number 2. She's testifying under cross-examination. But from what how testimony is going so far inside the courtroom, you would think, and I think this is kind of pretty interesting for our viewers, is that Tinny and Jane, while she's on the stand, it seems like the two are just like friends catching up, and the two are just, when Tinny would throw a question to her, oh, so you mean that this is happening? Oh, so did you really mean that you didn't want to do these hotel nights, but you did want to do this because you wanted to please your partner, your lover? It's very kind of toned down. It's not aggressive like we've seen in other cross-examinations with Brian Steele and Mia, or even with Nicole could happen, but the judge said, well, isn't the innocent explanation to all of this was that this was 9 years ago. Bonna was in her early 20s at this point, that around this time she was taking drugs, and that this photo could have been taken earlier, it could have been taken later, and that the defense already attacked the timing of this incident during their cross-examination, and the defense